hello. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Nice to finally
I'm
meet
good.
you.
Nice to meet you too. I was like, not that you got to download a whole nother program, a whole nother software.
I know. I was like, this download is not allowed. First party. I was like, oh my god, not me being late just to download an app, but it's fine.
That's so ugly. Like, no, I was like, it's never that serious. I was like, I just go into like StreamYard.com and go on. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. So, but I'm glad you got in though. How
yeah.
you doing? How's
Right.
how's your day going?
It's good. Yeah, I just finished classes, took a little nap, about to head to practice in a couple hours. So yeah, it's been a busy day.
Hey, okay. She said, practice, classes, nap. Always got to get that
I
siesta
know,
in.
right? Oh, exactly.
Like, like I'm thinking like, okay, I gotta go coach my kiddos at like,
Mhm.
I gotta leave her at 4, and because I live right on the beach. Well, not right on the beach, but there's like the intercoastal, and then you cross it and
Mhm.
you get to the beach.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm
said
right
you
there.
had beach practice, you said? Is that because
Yeah.
where are you located? Because I wish I was near the beach where it's warm.
Okay. Look, I'm like, where am I? I'm in Pompano Beach. So, which
Wow.
is just north of Fort Lauderdale down here in
Got
Florida.
it. Got it. Yeah.
And so, I just started maybe like actually, no, last Monday, I started doing some beach training
Mm,
because down here, I notice, it's different when you are just like a connoisseur of volleyball and you just
mm,
go play pickup in places and you see all the good stuff about people like, oh, I know that person from TV. I know that person from this tournament. And
right.
then, like, on the business side of it now, I'm like, "Oh, such and such has trainings," and the people are like, "Oh my god, I hate going to their trainings." Like, they talk to me like I'm trash. They're
Mhm.
so expensive. We don't practice that long. The group has like 15 people in it with one coach, and I'm like, I'm like, "How much is it an hour?" They're like, "We have to pay $50 an hour. The session's only 50 or only an hour." I'm like, and that's with the warm up included in it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, "That's so trifling, like,
Right.
why y'all doing the
No, for
kids like
real.
that?"
You know they don't have that money. They're begging to bash their parents for a training session. Mm-mm.
Okay. And it's like they only wanna train because of that person's name, right? Because
Right.
realistically,
Right.
you could go get that training, like, passing is passing, settings,
Right.
blocking is blocking. But, like, what sets it over the edge for me, I'm like I just asked them, like, what do you want? Like, what kind of environment do you want? And they're like, we just, because they're adults, like, they know what they need to
Mhm.
work on. I don't need to yell at them. I don't need
Right.
to
Right.
make them feel like trash. Like,
Yeah. That's
I
exactly
mean,
how
go ahead.
college is. It's like the coaches are like, we're gonna teach you what you need to know. We're not gonna yell at you for doing something bad. Like we're here to learn. We're not here to, it's not like high school anymore where the coaches are getting mad if you miss a little play. It's just like, okay, next one, let's do it again. Come on, like let's be adults here,
Right.
basically.
Exactly. But that requires people to be in an adult mindset instead of just
Right.
like, I don't know. I love volleyball, but like Florida volleyball and just there's so much of it down here, like on every
Mm,
level. You have the club teams, the high school teams, then you go into collegiate, and then you have now some professional volleyball teams down in here with Southern Exposure and the NBA. And you see like all of these people training and like everyone's doing the same, but I feel like it's just so aggressive down here with volleyball. I'm like, why y'all it's like that song, like, "Why you gotta be so mean?" Like, why y'all like, "Whoa, yeah, back up, baby." Like,
yeah.
something.
No, I think it's like that in Texas too. I think they're super. Like I heard about TAV. I never really knew about
Mhm.
TAV until I went to my sister's national. What is it called? At the end of every club season, nationals basically. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
nationals.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, no way, I didn't know TV was that serious. I mean, Texas and Florida and California, it's like Maryland, it's barely, popping,
Mhm.
but get to a whole bigger state, and it's like their life, they revolves around it. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm like, I need to that's one thing I was just saying that this morning. I was like, I need to find friends that are not volleyball friends
Yeah, yeah,
because I love the sport. Like, and you know this too. Like that community that just we roll up together, we leave together. Everybody looks the same with the slides and the crew socks
right,
on,
right. With the
and
music in
rep.
the bag too, with the speaker.
Okay, like loud as all outdoors with like four people taking up the whole sidewalk. Don't care, and it's like yo, like I love that about about the sport, but it become volleyball itself is not it's not like basketball. Like
Yeah,
everybody plays basketball,
right,
everybody plays football, everybody plays
right.
soccer, but volleyball it's not that big in the States, so it's not unheard of for you to know somebody like to be like your degrees of separation for it to be like 1 to 2 people for anybody in the
Mhm,
volleyball community. It's pretty crazy. Or do you feel
right.
that?
Yeah, I feel like whenever I guess when you said, finding people outside of volleyball also, it's hard to, I guess branch out and also connect with them because that's what brings people together is volleyball. So,
Mhm.
basketball, I try to, hang out with the basketball crew, see what they're at and stuff like that. But I was like, oh,
Mhm.
like there's nothing that really like we're athletes, but there's nothing that
Mhm.
really I guess connects with us. So yeah, I definitely get it when it comes to
Yeah.
trying to branch out, but it's difficult. It's difficult trying to find other people that aren't, in your
Mm.
circle.
It's
Yeah.
hard. Like even just like quality people now, I'm like, are you bringing good energy?
No, right.
No. Do I
Because
need a
not
crystal to hang
every
around
team,
you?
right? Not every team brings the best people, but it's fine. Yeah, it's all right. You have to deal with them and then move on. And you might have to
Yeah.
deal with them again in the future, but yeah.
Mm. Mm. It just be
now you're flashbacking. You're flashbacking.
right, just like triggered, just like, oh, oh, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else. Like, no, like I we were just talking about that on the last episode of this podcast. I'm gonna change the name of my podcast. Like I'm about to do like it was called the Retrocast.
Mhm.
What and the point of it was to kind of like take a step back in time and interview these coaches like Rose Majors Powell and
Mhm.
like on the first episode Penny White and just people who have like who look like us who may have
Right.
gone to HBCUs who have played on the Olympics, people that you don't hear a lot of that
Right.
look like us to get more people
Mhm.
to be in the sport. And just to branch out from the main sports, basketball, football, and track and field for us.
Right.
And I was sitting there thinking, like, you know what? The retrocast doesn't really fit anymore because, like, now everyone, like, you get to talking about, oh, how was it like to play in the Olympics? And they tell you, and
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I guess there's only so much you can talk about when it comes to like
Yeah.
one event. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, let's change it up a little bit. So
Yeah.
now it's gonna be called how do you feel about this? I only told one other person this. So
Okay.
um
Okay.
I'm thinking about calling it the Volleyball Kickback Show.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
volleyball kickback
A little
show.
kickback. And like we
Okay.
it's not formal. It's
Mhm.
just we sit back and we just have a conversation and there's like little topics that I have to fall back on, but it's
Mhm.
mainly letting you speak and like amplify your voice and not just like let's talk about school.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And all right, bye.
Right.
It's not
No,
really
I like that because usually people know how to incorporate, I guess, real life events with, with
hmm
athletes. So the kickback, I like that. The
okay.
volleyball, wait, repeat that one more time. The volleyball kickback show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
hmm
that. I like that. That sounds
Okay.
tough. Yeah, because actually right now I'm coming up with this event that I'm working with Maryland right now with athletes and trying to figure
Okay.
out how we can, I guess, incorporate the Greek life because at PGBY, the
hmm
Black Greek life is not very relevant as much as the white Greek life. So we're trying to,
hmm
because of the pandemic, they weren't allowed to have that many events. So actually, it's
hmm
Kappa Week right now. So we're gonna see what they're doing. Trying to,
Okay.
come out from the shadows.
Right.
But I'm
I'll be
like,
seeing your
okay,
stories. I'll be like, oh, she be lit at these games. Like, she, It'd be a
I
whole
have
vibe. It'd be
to.
you and like one other person. I'd be like, yo, they're having the best time of their life right now.
You have to. You have to. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out like how can I incorporate, the regular people and then the athletes and the Greek life because all of those people come together, like it's gonna be amazing. So I'm thinking about probably
Mm.
trap karaoke. Like shout out to that. Hopefully in April. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. It'll be hosted by the athletics, but where everybody in there, of course, like it's not gonna be insane like the like regular people parties. That's not allowed in, facilities
Mm-hmm.
on
Them.
campus. But
They're not ready for the whole thing. Then don't be
I
going out there
I
bringing
know.
go-go and
I
all
know.
this other stuff out there. Don't start it.
I
Got
might
people
have,
beating
I
on
might have to
drums
bring
and
a little.
buckets.
I might have to bring a little sexy lady to it. I might as well.
Okay,
But
yo, everybody else is doing it. Like, shoot, why not me too? Like, I'm just trying to have
right,
fun.
right. But yeah, I'm just trying to get people together because the pandemic is slowly coming to an end. Possibly, who knows? But rules are kind of being lifted, so we can try to bring regular life into athlete life. Try to make this fun. When people really
Mhm.
think it is. So yeah.
Yeah, and then also speaking of bringing regular life into the athlete life, I guess that's literally a good segue into what I wanted to. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was like, how did it feel to be representing your university for your conference and for you to get the backlash that you did, like so late in the season too, not even like
Right.
from the jump about just kneeling during the national anthem because I feel like every time it's brought up, it's like, oh, but you're disrespecting the flag. And I'm like, but again, like multiple people keep saying it's not about the flag, girl. It's not about that red, white, and
Mhm.
blue. It's
Right.
about police brutality. And then you look
Mhm.
on the news and it's like, oh, like literally we can watch a live murder on TV and then no one thinks anything of it. And it's just like,
Right.
oh, well, that happened. So talk about that unnecessary pressure, like that point of hate coming to you
Yeah,
when
it
you were
was
kneeling.
it was very unexpected. I was expecting it way sooner in the season, going to the away games. I was like, oh, like
Mhm.
this might be the game where something happens. But I was prepared. I knew, my teammates and my coaches would support me throughout everything, and also my family and my friends. But I
Mhm.
feel like what really sparked was my dad. I remember when he was also in college. There's always a new generation of movements happening, and I feel like this is our new generation of movement. And he was like, there has to be a leader. No one is leading. Like Martin Luther King is gone, Malcolm X is gone. Like no one is rebelling like they used to anymore. So someone needs to do it. And I was like, well, I'll do it. Like I have the platform. I feel like I'm super, excited about the process that I'm going through, and I'm just,
Mhm.
really, I guess, motivated by, how things have changed, but also motivated by how things haven't, which is what I said in one of my posts
Yeah.
because um, I think what added on at Nebraska was that it was Veterans Day weekend, so it
Oh.
was a
Ooh.
little, yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
right before they were like, please stand for the national anthem, playing of the national anthem, they said also some line about like respecting and saluting the veterans, and I was like, oh, I don't think this is gonna go well. So as soon as I went down, I just heard, the audience, lots of murmurs, lots of, sentences from other people.
Mhm.
I was like, I got very, very warm, very hot. I got very, I guess, nervous. Like, okay, what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to stand back up.
Yeah,
That's not.
like, oh,
This is
oh,
what I'm
y'all,
here to do.
okay.
Right, right.
Oh,
Right.
y'all
I'm
don't
like,
like
I'm not
that?
gonna.
Okay, I'll do it next game. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. What was I
I was not
thinking?
gonna do that. I had no idea what to do. I was like, do I put my fist down? Do I just sing? I was like, let me stay here. Let me just do what I need to do. Play the game. It was a little awkward, playing the game with, Nebraska. We talked like a little bit. Lauren Strivens came over and she said something before the game, so that was nice. Because like
Mhm.
whenever you go to the other schools, you never know what players on the other team are gonna, I guess, have the same, I guess, beliefs in you. So that was a little
Okay.
nerve wracking too. So a lot of people talk about the crowd, but also I really focus on, I guess, the players. So whenever I do go to the other games, I'm always like kind of peeking on what players are also kneeling during the anthem, or whenever
Okay.
they have statements that the Big Ten reads off about equality. So some
Mhm.
of them kneel, and then some of them stand back up for the playing of the national anthem, which my teammates do. Some of them do to correct myself. Um, But yeah, it's kind of, I guess, focused on my people, our generation, like figuring out how can we make an impact rather than focusing on the ignorant people that probably won't change their mindset at all. So yeah, that was my whole thought
No, I
process
mean,
through the whole Nebraska experience.
yeah, yo, and I'll tell you this too. Like being somebody who has, I went to high school out in Kansas City, like a suburb down in Kansas City, and I just remember I like just the little comments off to the side. Like I'd be running track, and I have these massive, very defined calves, but I have like this tree trunk legs. Like that's just everybody in my family has these like tree trunk legs. So I remember one time this kid, his name is Ryan Duggar. I know he's not going to watch this at all, so whatever. There's nothing against him, but I remember he came up to me and was like, "Yeah, said the only reason why black people are faster is because they have an extra calf muscle."
Mm,
And I just remember being a kid, and I was like, "Oh, like, is that true?" Like, I
yeah,
I don't know, but, like, cause my calves are really big, but then I look around at, like, all the other track athletes, and I'm like, "Okay, but, like, not everybody else's calves that are black are as big as mine." Or,
right.
so I feel like now whenever race gets brought up, like that whole Spotify foolishness, and we have people who are, like, later on, it's almost like being retroactive about it, like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
shouldn't have said this. I knew I should have said it." I'm like, "Yeah, but you said it anyway."
right,
And then it's
right.
strange to me how you have those people, like the followers, and they're just like, "Yeah, but he apologized." I'm like, "No, no, no,
Yeah,
like, you're getting mad at the effect. The effect
yeah,
is that other people who have gone through foolishness that other people have oppressed on them, they're speaking out, and you're looking at the effect, but you're not looking at the cause. You're not willing to educate yourself on
right,
the cause,
right.
because if the cause wasn't there, then that timeline that wouldn't happen. Like there would be no reason for a Black Lives Matter movement. There would be no reason for a Me Too movement or anything where any sort of like stop AAPI hate, or like just there would be no reason for that if people were getting treated the way that they would like to be treated or
Right.
just respected. So kudos to you, because I even like sometimes I'm like, should I kneel or should I not kneel? But
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't naturally I don't feel as though like kneeling for me is where it's at for me. Like I'm that type of person that's like, I'm gonna show you something. Let me show you
Mhm.
something. Let me shove these
Right.
words down your damn throat. Like
Right.
what you're not gonna do is disrespect me and my ancestors who fought and sacrificed their
Mhm.
life for me to be here, for us to be going through the same
Right.
thing.
Right.
Mm-mm,
No, yeah, I get that because we need
no.
every type of person to, fight for our rights. It's not just one kind of person. I feel like whenever I talk
Yep.
to people, they always think, "Oh, I need to kneel." I'm like, "No, no, you don't. You don't always need to kneel. I don't kneel. I'm not doing it just to do it. I'm doing it because this is my way of showing, the way that I want to fight for our rights. Like it's just
Yep.
there's other like for you example, like how you said you're gonna put someone in their place. I cannot put someone in their place.
Yeah.
I have to I have to, I guess, I've had this so many encounters. I have to educate them in a proper way for them to understand. And so my sister, she also struggles with she she likes to talk. She likes to put someone in the place like you, and I love that. I wish I could do that, but I can't because I'm like one of those people where I'm gonna sit down, talk to you. I'm gonna educate you and take things step by step so you can understand. And if I need help, that's where you guys come in. You guys can back me up, help me out.
Mhm.
We can all, build together. It's not just one person versus the other to see who's better at fighting for the rights. It's trying to
Yeah.
build, a foundation of how each of us can find a way to educate one another. So, yeah, yeah, I totally understand.
So okay, so when you say educate, so this is like the
Yeah,
debate that I'm having with my friends now
yeah.
is when it comes to educating someone, how do you feel? What's your take on it? Like when it comes to just when someone says like, "Oh, okay, like, Black Lives Matter," when they have like a rebuttal to Black Lives Matter. Okay, so all
Mhm,
lives matter. That is the
mhm,
rebuttal to Black Lives Matter.
right, right.
Um, so how do you go about educating them, and how, like, do you think it is your place to do it? Like, how do you just what goes through your mind?
Yeah, I guess when it comes to, I guess, using Black Lives Matter versus the All Lives Matter, kind of
Mhm.
clash. I guess it's explaining the foundation of Black Lives Matter and why it started, rather than why the All Lives Matter movement is wrong. I guess kind of taking away from the negativity and trying to put the positive, sides of all of it. So, of course, there's going to be negative about All Lives Matter versus about Black Lives Matter. And I guess finding the positive of why are we supporting Black lives? Like why? And it's just
Yeah.
not Black lives, which is the insane part. So that's
Mhm.
also when I'm trying to educate, people is it's not just Black lives, it's people of color, it's minorities, it's the queer community, it's
Mhm.
absolutely everyone. It's not just Black Lives Matter. It's just the base of a deeper dive into what everything is underneath that. So yeah, that's I guess one example of foundation of trying to educate a person that isn't really understanding all lives versus Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, I struggle with it because here's my take on educating people. I'm like, it's frustrating because I should not I should not have to educate someone on what is
Mhm.
right and what is wrong. Because if you don't want your child to go through that,
Mhm.
then you know that it's wrong. So
Right.
you shouldn't do it.
Right. Right.
Point blank period. There should be no
Yeah.
question about it. Um, w- we've gone through our people have gone through plenty of years of slave. Like, okay, we got shows about it. They about to make, like, and all the things that come after it. They about to make a whole nother color purple. Okay, like there's about to be a whole nother Miss Seeley. There's about to be like a whole. It's almost like a reminder, but it's
Mhm.
frustrating to me because how many ways can we go about this education? Like, because
Mhm.
we put the message in our music, we put the message
Mhm.
in our art, we put it in the TV shows like Blackish and Dear White People, and
Right.
we do all of these things, but then you have schools in Texas that are like, no, no, you can't teach anything about
Mhm.
like what a radical, racial, blah 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 blah. But then on the other side of the token, I'm like, you know what? No, I do need to educate you because somewhere down the line, somebody didn't do their job.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so I don't want my kids to continue to go through that foolishness. Like, it's 2022. We've been through a whole pandemic with three different strands of COVID. Okay. Three whole different versions. She has upgraded. She has like, we've got the new COVID. Like, it's been so crazy throughout these
Mhm.
past 3 years, and I feel like we're just going through the same crap over
Mhm.
and over and over and over again, and, that's why ultimately I was like, "I'm gonna create crossing courts," because I can't control what everybody else does, but I can create a safe space for kids who look like me to just be themselves,
Right.
to not show up on a court and be like, "Oh, Maurice, you seem a little aggressive today." I'm like, "No, I'm just passionate about what I'm doing. I'm here.
Mhm.
I wanna give 100%." And it's like anytime I get mad on a court or like, I hit a ball straight down and, I look you in your eyes, it's like, oh, well, don't be disrespectful. That's unsportsmanlike. I'm like, bro, like we are all four grown men with testosterone playing a competitive
Yeah.
sport. What do you think is going to happen? Like,
See, you're
come on now. I want to
realistic. You're
flex my
realistic
muscles
about
too.
it.
Come on now. Like, it's not my fault. I just aced you 3 times. Like, this literally happened over the weekend. Uh, okay. Have you ever this is a particular example. Have you
Mhm.
ever gone to play pickup and
Um.
you
Yeah.
just
Okay. Okay. I haven't really,
y
but yeah. Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
okay, and you show up and you're, like, the only Black person there?
Yeah, actually, this happened over winter break for the first time. I
Okay,
played my first time ever playing pickup, and it was all minorities, but I was the only Black person. I was like, I'm the
hmm,
minority, like the minority of the minorities. Like I was like, this
uh-huh,
is, I love this, but I don't know how to feel. Like I don't know how to feel about this. different. Like,
Right.
but yeah, it was cool. Like I do understand, I guess, like having you don't want to educate people because it's so late in the game. Like it's 2022. My parents like
Mm,
I'm still trying to educate them. I think that's what's kind of I guess not. I don't want to blame the older generation for holding us back, but I do think that if I knew what I knew and I was a parent and like let's say my parents knew what I knew now, I think I would be a whole different person. Like it would just be so much like a flower be blossoming, with each
yeah.
generation. It wouldn't be, so late in the game trying to learn so many things. Like my younger siblings, they know so much about like history. And I was like, I grew up, learning about slavery, civil rights, like black and white, like everything's
Yeah.
good now. No, I didn't. I had to wait until college and take my American study classes, which is why I got into it, to learn about the real history that we have right now. And it's insane that it's taking it's taking people so long to realize it's actually happening. And thank God for social media because if it wasn't for that, then who knows where we would be right now. So
Let me tell you something.
honestly,
You cannot hide with social media. Social
hmm
media will find
yep,
you.
yep,
Like you will be scrolling on your phone and you will pop
hmm
up and it will not be for something you posted. Like you could act up if you
no,
want
honestly,
to.
yeah, there's always gonna
Yo,
be something. No, I get it, I get it.
I like I don't like and especially for my company because all the kids that I coach are all minorities, are either Latino or they're black or they're Afro Latino or some mix some of the three.
Hmm.
And like I tell them all the time, be you. Like you got to be you. So I always send them with homework. I'm like, look up someone that's from your nationality or your background or your religion or something, just because I need you to know that if you want to be in volleyball, that there are people who look like you out there.
Hmm.
Now, you may gotta search and find because volleyball is not that televised as we would
Right,
like it to be,
right,
but
right.
there are people out there, and I'm I'm happy. Like because okay, so I'm from DC. I'm
Yeah.
from the DMV. So I am actually my grandmother and my aunts, they all live in Oxon Hill.
Oh,
They
that's
live
basically where I'm from.
Yes, they right over by the freaking, what is that? The
National
Iverson
Harbor.
Mall.
Oh, okay, got it,
No,
got it,
no,
got it. Yeah.
over by the Iverson Mall, but,
Hmm.
like, in a little neighborhood, blah, blah,
Hmm.
in the cut somewhere, but, I don't even know what I was saying.
we were talking about finding someone that looks like you that's so like for
Oh, yeah,
example,
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I switched it up a little bit. I was like,
yeah.
"Okay, what was I saying?" So that's why for me, like I gravitated towards you. I was watching a match. I was like, wait, hold up, how is she? I remember you came in as a freshman. I was like, wait, okay, because I haven't seen that on Maryland's volleyball team
Yeah,
in ever. So like, I'm
right,
liking
right.
this. It's the energy for me, sis. It's like
Mhm.
being outspoken and like when I was your age, I'm like about to be 32 next month. But when I was younger and getting into the sport and even just trying to figure out what it is I want to do with life, just
Mhm.
just trying to figure it out. Like my voice was not nearly as strong as yours. And so that's why I really wanted to have you on the podcast because I'm like, I know that there are so many young women and young men, especially in the DMV area, who can relate to your story, who can relate to, you staying at home and playing at Maryland. And, like that's relatable. That's something
Mhm.
that you can get behind. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so like, thank you for being you. Like, before we go on with this, but like, thanks for being you
Yeah.
because it's a breath of fresh air just in the volleyball community in general. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I definitely need to thank my parents for that, and the people in Maryland, because I feel like in like the small DMV community, you don't think it's like you think it's as diverse as it is everywhere else, but it's not. And you go
Hmm.
somewhere else and you're like, oh wait, like I think I might have to stay here for just a little bit longer, just to
Right.
keep the culture alive. Teach the people a few
Hmm.
things. Because when people come here, they're like, well, the people in Maryland, they don't know about outside of DC, outside of Maryland, about the university.
Hmm.
They just they don't understand, I guess, how diverse and how like culture actually is, which I think is
Hmm.
insane because I'm teaching my teammates about go-go, and I'm like, but I learned about go-go when I was young. My dad even listened to go-go, and he's not even from Maryland. He's from West Virginia. I'm like, everyone should know this, right?
Yay,
But not
yes.
everyone knows this, which I'm confused about. So maybe one day, my senior last game, they'll play go-go for our warm-ups. Hopefully, one day. That's my goal. But yeah, it's
What?
just it's.
I'm surprised that
They
that's not
haven't
already
really.
on rotation.
I know, probably at Howard, maybe. That's actually why I go to some of the HBCUs
Oh
because
yeah.
I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the HBCUs just to visit, just to visit. But yeah, I definitely gotta thank even Metro, like the club, like they allowed me to be myself. They allowed me to have music playing and have my teammates just by my side, just living my life, and also learning volleyball too. I think it's insane that I am so grateful that I have like such an awesome path that I'm able to be myself and accelerate in volleyball. I think it's such a cool, unique process, and I'm afraid for the future because I know when I get to the career path and work life, I'm like I have to decide between how am I going to be and do I fit into a square or do I find a way to embrace myself, which I'm trying to figure out now. Like I want to get braids in my hair, but we have the Team USA tryouts in like a week from now. So I'm like, do I get the braids in my hair? Like I have the two gems. I don't know if you can see. I'm like, do
Hmm.
I like continue to be myself or do I kind of like hold back a little bit for the people, which I'm kind of it's a weird balance right now with me in my head. So
I think be yourself. I mean, it's easier said than done
yeah.
because we know that if you being yourself could turn other people off from even just like little sponsorships, like the
Mm-hmm.
littlest thing, people are just so very sensitive and just
Mm-hmm.
like not willing to see the other side of the story. It's just like their side of the story and that's it. So I don't know, but I had this conversation with I won't say their name, but they will be on the podcast soon. But I was telling them, at the end of the day, I think everybody that's been on this podcast, but now show,
Mm-hmm.
have said the same thing. Like it all boils down to representation because if I don't see somebody who looks like me, it's hard for why I can't picture myself there, like because I don't
Right.
know what I am picturing. But if I
Right.
see somebody doing it, I can follow them and I can be like, especially on social media, like you have the opportunity, like how I reached out to you, like I literally can just reach out to you. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to try to get in touch with your coach and then get the the green light from the coach, but then
Mm-hmm.
trying to understand. I don't expect other people to understand where it is that I come from when it comes to creating quality opportunities for Black athletes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think people can wrap their mind around it and they're like, okay, I can get why that makes sense. But when it comes to feeling it and like truly understanding and walking in places that where we came from and just living a day to day life like we do, and having stories come out about us like, oh, well, another person was gunned down. Oh, another
Mm-hmm.
person was gunned down just for running in a neighborhood. One
Right.
person was, gunned down sleeping in her bed. Like,
Right.
just literally things like that. And I just like, so I am always like, be you. Wear the braids all the way down your back. Okay, I want you every time you get a kill, you go to turn and you get the braids like that hit the net. Like I want them to say something.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
that's where that's where change happens, when you don't budge. Like you're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
you. And
Right.
at the end of the day, that's all you can be. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you should change for anybody. Like
Right.
no, because before you
Yeah.
had your hair out, before we got our hair out like this, we
Right.
used to have
Right.
to keep it short, or we
Mhm.
had to put a perm in it, or we had to comb it
Exactly.
a certain way. So,
Exactly. Yep. That's why my hair is short as
you
it
know,
is, because I was ironing it, trying to change it. I'm like, if I didn't touch my hair, it would be down to my back. It'd be long and gorgeous.
yes.
But it's fine. I'm on the come up. I'm on the come up. But yeah, I totally agree. Like every day is not promised, especially with how things turn out with what that looks like us. It's just like you said, you might as well just do it because be you and watching what's happening on the news. Like you never know. It could be you next, which is insane to me. So even just walking around, like going to the other schools and even just walking around in DC, which I did last week, and I was like, this just feels wrong. Seeing the monument, seeing the White House, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable, admiring this, artifact that everyone is, admiring so much. I'm like, there's history behind this. And I'm thinking about it as, a person of color, but also, my teammates who aren't, they're seeing it as, oh my God, like, I'm not from here. Like, it's so cool that our people of color. It's just like, we're seeing two different things. And I don't know how to come across without, being too aggressive. I'm like, I'm a black person. I don't feel comfortable here. But they're like, oh, this is so cool. So it's just like, how much am I gonna put into, I guess, my everyday life of trying to educate people? Because it is exhausting, at the end of the day. So it's just like I might as well talk to my colleague Milan and just complain about it and then just keep it moving. So yeah.
With that being said, you're coming back for one more season, one
Mhm.
more go around, one more tussle with the Big Ten. Like, so how? Oh, right. I'm ready. I'd be ready to like fight for no reason. I'd be like,
Mhm.
let's go,
Yeah.
let's go. I'd be telling my kids, I'd be like, I was, my kids are like, we're supposed to start scrimmaging with, because I do a developmental program away from my actual volleyball club. And
Mhm.
so they want to start scrimmaging, but these kids like just picked up a volleyball at the beginning of the year, maybe like January 3rd, 2nd or 3rd. And they only practice like 3 hours a week, which we both
Mhm.
know that ain't nothing. It's like, I mean, okay. So they're like, okay, so when are we gonna start scrimmaging? And I'm like, um, well, when did you? I was like, when did you think? And they were like, as soon as possible. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say absolutely not to that. But
Yeah.
um, what they don't know is that my kids are progressing really quickly. Like there's a small group of them and they all want to be there. So that's the first battle right there. Is like, do you even
Yeah.
want to be here?
Right.
But they love what they do. They all take the initiative to practice at home. So when we come back, it's like, oh, like you can see the leaps and bounds. Yo, I got my some of these. I told my kids, and this is the energy that I go into. This is why I'm telling you the story. My kids, I told them like we're gonna start scrimmaging, and of course, all their eyes are like, like we're not ready, we're not ready, and I'm like, no, no, we're ready, and
Yeah.
I get low in my voice, and I'm standing
Mhm.
and I look at everyone, and I said, I just want to let you know, all of you are leaps and bounds, and this is like your second month playing volleyball,
Mhm.
above the kids who are your age, who you are going to be scrimmaging against. And I said, I know you're going to be nervous, but I said, listen to me. I call them all my future Olympians. I said, all of my future Olympians, listen to me. And they were like, what, Coach Mo, Coach Mo, what? So I was like, when we show up in North Miami, when I tell you we're going to show up and we're going to show out, I said, we are going to stomp on their throats when we go over
Period.
there.
Period.
And they were like looking around, and then this girl was like, wait, can you say that? I said, I already did. So like, yo, my kids, I got them doing like little floats. Like one kid, he's like, can I do a jump float? And he's like consistently jump floating.
Mhm.
And he's 12. And he just picked up the
Yeah.
ball like he's only had like 5 practices.
Wow. That is
But I'm just
insane. That
like,
is awesome.
yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the energy I roll up to. So y'all know
Mhm.
when I show up to a game, I'm the loudest one in the arena. I do not
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I expect to be hoarse at the end of it, and
Yeah.
hopefully I can get a free T-shirt or something because I'm gonna earn that T-shirt.
No, my goal is always to maybe get a little like, when the refs, when they're, look back at you like, calm down, calm down.
Hmm.
Whenever, people are celebrating, my goal is to get at least like a little bit one of those when I go to my sister's tournament, just to,
Uh-huh.
keep things pumping, keep it fun, because I'm not just going to see here like popping, being all pretty and cute. Like, no, this is volleyball, but we're gonna change it. We're gonna change it up a little bit. Bring that, basketball energy
Yes.
into the volleyball because basketball's fun to watch. Everyone's so into it.
Hmm.
Like going to college games, people are people are crazy. The students are getting crazy.
Absolutely.
I'm
It's
like,
a
why can't volleyball
whole
be like that? It's so funny. It's so funny seeing that. Why can't we have that again? So yeah, I
and
get
it
that.
really is it really is like that. Maybe it's like a men's and women's sport
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
dynamic because like in football, like football, you can say anything to anybody on that field. I mean, the most disrespectful things on that field. I would be like, oh, I would have to leave the field because I'll be ready to hurt one of y'all. Like, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna lose that match. I know I'm going to. And then freaking basketball, I'm like, oh, like, especially in the NBA, you know how they be mic'd up? I'd be like, "Ooh, some of y'all should be mic'd up because 'cause y'all mouths are like, oh, we got Draymond Green. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Draymond, I hear you. Wow,
Because they
okay.
don't show that. They even the mics on the hoops, you can hear just a little chatter with the centers because I know they talk trash down there. Those big guys, they get into it. So
Could
you
you imagine could you freaking imagine if they had, like, mic'd up and they had, like, Shaquille O'Neal and, like, Kobe Bryant and
they wouldn't be able to
just
post
Shaq in
it.
general.
They would not be able to post it. They'd have to have a warning before. They'd have to bleep it all out. Like it would
Oh
just
my
be too much
gosh.
editing. That's all they haven't done it because it's too much editing for them to even post it.
Ooh, I would see, like, I would love that.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. I tried to, do some commentating. I reached out to the NBA, to do some commentating, and I was like and they were like, "Have you ever done commentating before?" I was like, "Nope, but I know I'm great at it." Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm good at it.
Confidence is key. Confidence is key.
Yes, I'm like, "Yo, I could do it all." I'm like, all I'm doing is watching a I get to just be a fan of the game and
Hmm.
just tell and, like, explain things, like, it's just fun, like, you want people to watch it, and
Right.
I was like, "Y'all be a little dry sometimes," but
Even just watching sports, I usually am not listening to it because they're talking all technical stuff, which I completely understand. But it's just like if I'm listening to it, I can't hear because if you're not at the game, you can't really hear what's actually going on. So I need like a little bit
no.
more energy, keep it going. At least if they could add a third person, you know how they usually do, if they could add a third person to
Mhm.
keep that energy going, that could be really cool. Yeah,
See,
I
that's what
love
I
that.
say,
Yeah,
but, the NBA is they just now starting, so I'm like,
right.
"I need y'all to come up with some coins or something." Like, what are cointadas? What
Yeah.
my friend call them cointadas.
No way. Oh my gosh.
Yo, a mess. Yeah. Whew. I'm excited. I'm excited for your next year. I'm excited for to watch you. I am a little upset that I don't get the Big Ten down here because like the SEC is cute, but like it'd just be like Florida and now Kentucky. At one point, it was
Mhm,
kind of Missouri, but then they kind of like
mhm.
fell off. So it's just like Florida and Kentucky now. But I'm like the Big
Yeah,
Ten, like everybody's playing at a high level. Like
yeah,
everyone is competing day in and day out. Like those are some.
yeah,
It's not a. It's like the Pac-12. It's like there is a reason why the national championship ends up in either the Pac-12 or either the Big Ten because like y'all be going at it day in and day out.
yeah, yeah. Just my freshman year when I first got in here, the game was so much faster than I thought. Usually it's about
Mhm.
aggression, killing the ball, blocking everybody, hitting, through the seam. But now, like getting to Big Ten, it's very technical, but it's just big girls just doing their thing. Usually, like when I noticed the ACC, it's fast or athletic. They're doing their thing. But with the Big Ten, it's just like it's who's the biggest and the best. basically. And even if it's not about height, because I know most of the middles, they're usually shorter than the outsides, which I found real interesting when I got to the
Yeah.
Big Ten. It's just like, who's the most athletic, who's the most big. It's just so competitive. Even though we're not trash talking against the net, it's just competitive because you see these same girls every single year because it's a smaller conference. So of course you're gonna learn about them. You're gonna follow them on Instagram. You're gonna see them at the tryouts.
Mm.
You're gonna see them, everywhere. But then as soon as you play them, it's so competitive. It's so interesting, see how it is, especially now when a lot of the girls they're transferring in conference, so
Mm.
it's nice because now I don't need to do as much, scouting, but at the same time it's like, are they going to teach them a new style of play? Like, are they going to be a different player? It's just like so unexpected every single year. It's just like now because the extra year of eligibility, it's like who knows what's going to happen this year. But the Big Ten is definitely where it's at. It's very very fascinating to watch, even from college perspective.
Yeah, and even I feel like even before I don't know what happened during COVID, but like I feel like there was a distinct rise in level in volleyball from before COVID to like
Mm-hmm.
this season. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what it was, but I feel like everyone was
Mm-hmm.
fast, everyone hit hard, everyone played outstanding defense.
Yeah.
Like it really just came down to can we keep the ball? Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody was like out here jump serving. I'm like, I ain't never seen so many women just out here like top spinning the ball and like and getting them in too. I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because I played on a men's net recently, and I was like, wait, why is this kind of easy? Are we getting? Is the Big Ten, helping me play on a men's net? Play higher because when you're against those big blocks, you gotta hit over them, and then also the
Hmm.
passers in the back. It's like you gotta find the seam, you gotta get hard, you have to be smart. It's just so many different aspects that I didn't even know until I got here. It's so crazy, playing this level.
Well, so when we talked about this level, and so I have one more question for you
Mm-hmm.
because I want to take up your whole time because I know you still gotta you may want to eat and do some other things too. Because I sit on the phone all day. I don't care. Um, so you came back for your last year of eligibility. So what are your plans as of now? You know, plans change, but what's your plan for after this year, after this upcoming season? Um, I know you mentioned USA tryouts being next week. So where's your heart taking you?
Definitely playing overseas. I know possibly I might not, be the next Dana Recchi in the Olympics, but I know I'm playing overseas. All right, that's been my goal ever since I was, birthed out the womb from my mother. But that's actually how they met. My parents, they met overseas playing ball, and I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I'm next. Like, that's the goal. I've been working with some people trying to figure out what, the plan is, because it's different. With college, they tell you what they want, and then pro, you tell them what you want, which is very
Hmm.
fascinating to me. So I'm gonna figure that out, and then hopefully in December, usually around this time is when college kids head overseas. So that's the goal after that.
Good.
Yeah,
I know you can do it. I think we both know that you will be
yeah.
successful at that.
I've been training for it all my life, so
Yo, for real, like you're like I was built for this. Like I was ready, sis.
right.
Yo, I really hope that you get your first pick if of and I know that whatever team you go to, like your energy, that's gonna you can take that energy anywhere to any club, any organization, and like you're likable, you have great energy, you're easy to talk speak with, but also very articulate as well. And I
Thank
think
you. I
all of that
appreciate
just
that.
makes yeah, like you represent yourself very well, and I
Thank you.
think
Thank you.
people can definitely get behind that, like
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I
So,
appreciate that. I was a little nervous. This is my third or second podcast kind of show thing, and
mhm,
I looked at your profile and I was like, okay, I can actually be who I am in this. I'm not. It's not this a very professional sit down and answer
mhm,
questions, very strict, very defined words. But yeah, I'm able to be myself, say what I need to say, and keep it moving, and
yeah.
also build a friendship. I love this. I think it's so awesome.
Well, my
Yeah.
friend, Imma let you since your alarms are going off, go eat, go get some sustenance.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
don't know what I'm
I
gonna eat.
will
I'm gonna figure it out. I'll cook something. I'll fix something out.
see. I don't know what I'm gonna cook either. But them two peanut butter and jelly sandwiches I had
Yeah,
were a joke. It was funnier than
yeah,
Kevin Hart's stand up. It
yeah.
was
No way. No way.
yo. It was my stomach was like, okay, so like what? Is there anything else? Oh, that's a water. Okay, great. Um, yeah, we'll wait till you off the podcast, and
Yeah,
then we're gonna start growling because we don't want
yeah.
to embarrass you. But all
No,
right,
I get
friend.
it.
I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much
For
for being a
sure,
part
for
of
sure.
my little show,
Yeah.
and I'll
Definitely
talk to you
reach
soon.
out. For sure. Yeah. I mean, I have weekends off now and I'm of age.
Hey,
I'm turning 22 in March 12th. So yeah, I know about beach
what?
cleaning.
You're a
Yes,
Pisces
yes.
baby. See, I'm
Yes,
March 9th.
really?
Let's
No
go.
way.
Yes,
Yeah,
March
for my
9th.
birthday, it's gonna be a fun one. Maybe not come out to my birthday, but maybe another weekend. Maybe another
No, that whole week is blacked out for me. Only people who know me already and don't
yeah,
judge me,
yeah,
they can only see me that week. After
yeah,
that, I'll emerge
yeah.
back out for sure.
Hilarious. All right, it was awesome meeting you and awesome
Nice to
chatting
meet
with
you
you.
too. Like
All
same,
right, you have a
same.
good one.
All right,
Yeah.
you too, friend.
All right,
Bye.
bye.